As we done so many times throughout this conference, you're invited to take a slow, nourishing, sweet breath with a smile right down through your lungs and through your entire body, feeling yourself with the breath of life that sustained you since the moment you were born until the moment you leave this planet. Take a slow, nourishing, beautiful breath, conscious breath, a breath of life. And again, place your awareness on your beautiful muscle you call your heart. Feel that heart physically and interdimensionally in any way you can. That heart that's always there, always listening to you, always listening to you, to your wishes, to your intuition, to your love. Breathe and allow yourself to feel even more through your heart, through your field, through your pineal, the divinity of yourself, your true self, the connectedness to your soul, the connectedness to all that is, the I am that I am. How far your love can reach right now as you set your attention and focus strongly in your hearts and through your entire being. How far can it be expanded to those around you in this room, to this entire resort, to the people that came here for, well, they came maybe for vacation or other things, but they are also going through their lives, through their journeys, with their wishes, with their challenges, with their joys and with their moments of sorrow, with their peace. Can we expand that love to them as well? And what about expanding that love into this city, this land, Maya land, reflecting it back to the ancients that in a non-corporeal way still exists, in a quantum way, giving our thanks to them for their teachings to us, for what they did back then, what they left us to feel, and expand it even more beyond this land into this entire continent, and then to this entire earth, to humans wherever they are. Expand this love globally, universally, and see it radiating, vibrating higher in a higher awareness, in a higher consciousness that will create more tolerance, more understanding from one another, more wisdom that will come forth in many aspects of the lives of people on earth, civilizations, governments, businesses, politics, industries, schools, families, communities. See them all holding their hearts as one. This is real, what you are doing now. This energy is not created this moment and then disappears after. It lives on every time you hold your heart with the focused intent as you're doing now. You are creating more peace, more benevolence for yourself and for those around you. Breathe and allow for that love, for the light, for the beauty of your soul to meld and merge with you in this moment even more. Even more. And beyond that, beyond this earth, invite your star families, the benevolent beings, those you know and those you don't. See them all as one beautiful heart, in oneness, in connectedness, in infinite ocean of love. Breathe and love yourself even more. Honor yourself and your journey to come here and share a few moments with all souls that know each other for so many other lifetimes and meet again. And we'll meet again after they leave, after you creating this lifetime of coherence that you'll carry with you. Breathe. Breathe that love as deeply as you can. As deeply as you can. And let us open our hearts once more at this time for the wisdom, for the love, for the compassion and light from Kryon to you, and also from you to Kryon, for a two-way communication into a oneness communication. Can you feel that energy coming from the other side of the veil through you, through the Kryon entourage right now? Speaking individually to each one of you energetically. You will hear one set of words going to the entire group, but at the same time, the entourage speaks individually for each and every one of you. There's a design and knowingness.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. This is the last channel of the year 2019. In the Yucatan Peninsula, where the ancients have left their energy and their imprint, their wisdom, their knowledge, a node of the planet that is activated along with the others. You sit in a special place, dear ones, and I want to tell you some things of which I also started to tell you last week in a place called Newport. It has to do with the difference between what was before 2012 in your life and now. There are so many who will say, well, dear Kryon, you give such a picture of change. You give such hope. But why? We've heard about the cycles. We've heard about the potentials. We know about the field. We've even learned that consciousness is beginning to be measured. What else might there be that would lift us so much out of an older human consciousness where all we did was war? What is it? I've given you the information on the activation of the nodes and the nulls, of the push and the pull, of how the grids of the planet, both invisible and visible, are being changed, including that which is magnetic. But there's more. Last week, I reminded you of some interesting things to think about. And I told you that inventions were given to this planet seemingly all at once. And if you review some of the most profound inventions of your time right now, you will see that it didn't necessarily come from one place or one group. The world seems to discover things when it's time. And that's what I want to talk about. I've said something to you many times, and I'm going to say it again because it is the key to what's going to happen next that's different. What is it that could happen universally on this planet that would make a dramatic change? Discovery is the answer. Discovery of things you have no idea exist here. Not somewhere else, but here. You don't know what you don't know. You really don't. In order to give this to you yet again, I use the example I gave last week. If 25 years ago I had told you that there would be no more film, what would you think? Photographers would gasp, and they would say, what do you mean no more film? That's our living. What are we going to do without film? And so the best minds would put that together and say, if that's a real prophecy, what medium would replace it? Do you understand that no medium has replaced it? A new paradigm has replaced it. A paradigm you couldn't think about. And so back then, you can even see the way you would think now. When I tell you things right now that I said last week, and I said, get ready for the end of batteries. All of them. And there are so many who would say, well, what's going to replace them? And the answer is nothing. Because they're not going to be needed. Because of what is coming, you don't know. You can't imagine what you don't know. And so the plea is this, again, I'll say, is this: don't judge what's going to happen to your future based upon the events of the past. Because there are things coming that will shape the way you think, that will expand humanity in ways you didn't expect. Things that may actually heal entire continents of disease. What would happen if the diseases of the planet stopped? Look at how many millions are controlled by others simply because they're sick. What would happen to societies and cultures if suddenly they were cured? We brought up an axiom, and I'll say it again, that is laughable to science. And here it is. When a human being starts to vibrate differently at a cellular level, disease cannot enter your body. And the reason, because disease has its vibration. It's alive. Some even have a consciousness of sorts. Imagine vibrating at a higher level of consciousness so that a lower level of disease will never enter your body again. That is thinking out of the box. If I said there'll come a day when there'll be no this or no that, which is prevalent today, and you'd say, what is the cure? And I told you there won't be one. It's going to be you moving past a point that you didn't even know existed, a point of consciousness that will start to develop. There are inventions coming that I cannot describe because you wouldn't understand. Let's say you go back in time and you want to tell a Maya all about the internet. That's going to be a tough one. You see, there's 2 or 3 or 4 inventions that you're going to have to discuss before the internet. One of them is electricity. You get past that one, you start to talk about transmission through the air. You get past that one, you have to start talking about computational digital power. You get past that one, you have to then talk about communication between those machines, and eventually you'll get to the internet. Do you see what I'm saying? 2 or 3 things must happen before a big one will happen. If it is true that you are given inventions because of that which you create with free choice of light and dark, light is starting to win. Darkness is starting to be uncovered. That alone should tell you that human nature itself is changing. When you see things that have existed in corruption or inappropriateness for hundreds of years, and suddenly they change, you must ask yourself, what is it that I'm seeing now that wasn't there for hundreds of years? Logically, it's there. Things are starting to be revealed that never were before, or things that always were there and covered up. Now you're saying, no, that cannot continue to be covered up because it's inappropriate. It's outside of love and compassion. It's not right. That is an example of light starting to win. That is an example of a raised consciousness. But that is going to happen all by itself, dear ones, because of the cycles you're in. I'm talking about something else I've talked about before, an invention. Won't be an invention as much as a discovery. The two together will give you something you don't expect. It will rewrite everything you felt you knew about yourselves, about the planet. One invention is coming. It must be preceded by 2 others, but it's coming. In 2 Kings, there's a story that I've told so many times. And people say, why do you keep telling the story? Now you'll understand. Elijah was about to ascend, and he would be the only human who chose his ascension time and asked it to be recorded and documented by Elisha, his understudy. And he told Elisha, I'm going to go into the field and I want you to write as fast as you can. Don't be distracted by what you see, but record it well and be accurate. And as the story is told, and accurately, by the way, dear ones, Elijah, a man of intense wisdom and connection to God and Spirit, walked into the field, raised his hands, and turned into a ball of light. Turned into a ball of light. And Elisha wrote it down and watched it, tears running down his cheeks. Nothing came and got him. No light descended from the heavens. Elijah turned into his own ball of light, 8 meters wide. So bright you couldn't look at it. Brighter than a welder's torch, this was. And that's where it got a name. Elisha had seen something that no other human being had ever seen. The vehicle that the soul rides in, a multi-dimensional bubble filled with patterns that mean things and languages, all right there in front of him. And it replaced his master. The corporeal Elijah had vanished. And this ball of light then seemed to be carried by 3 white horses into the heaven, a metaphor, dear ones, of the power of that 3. We've talked about it so often before. How many spiritual systems have a 3 involved in their divinity? Start to count them. It means something. It's a catalyst for humanity. That was a long time ago. Now, why do I tell you that yet again? What if I told you something is coming that would allow you to see the same thing? To see the same thing in the same way. What is it Elisha saw and wrote about it? What was the mechanics of this? And I'll tell you, it was the ability for a moment to see multi-dimensional life and things that are outside of 3D. You cannot. But there is an invention coming that will. We've given you hints about how this might work and how you might see it through instruments. Crude at first, using supercooling, we've told you. That ought to give a hint of what it's measuring. But what you're going to see will change humanity forever. You will see the Merkabah around every single human being. You will see patterns of health. You'll be able to look at a human and start to figure out what's going on inside their consciousness, their body. It's a map. It's a map of the consciousness of who you are, right in front of your eyes. You think that might change something. it'll change everything. The first question you'll ask is, what is it? Why is it there? What is it saying? It will rewrite spirituality on the planet. Rewrite it. You got to start again, because it's going to show magnificence. You're not going to see one human who's dark and one human who's light. You're not going to see that which you think is there. Instead, you're going to see an equality that is beautiful, human to human to human to human. Oh, but wait, what's that around the trees? But wait, what's that around the rocks? There's a geologist in the room. I better be careful. There's life everywhere that you didn't expect. How can I tell you what you don't know and you can't imagine? It's going to rewrite biology. It's going to rewrite the definition of what life has to be, because it moves. There are definitions and words coming that will be buzzwords in the future that you don't have today. It's going to show coherence. It may even show the field. It is the beginning of a planet's ascension track. You don't get that until you're ready to move to the next level. A society that would never kill itself or even think about that, an unconscionable act, would be to take another's life. That's coming as common sense, dear ones, as common sense. That war is not an answer to anything. It's a horror. It's never solved any problem on the planet. And that's going away. The gyrations of learning will be difficult, because you cannot come from thousands of years of dirt into the light without studying what it means and how to do it. There's going to be a slow integration of light into the dark. I told you that before. The world does not have to end for it to start again. This cycle doesn't mean the planet is going to die and then be reborn. It does not have to follow suit to other civilizations, some of whom died with pandemic of their own making. Not you. You're still here. And that ought to tell you what's next. What's next is an integration, difficult as it may seem, of light and dark that's never happened before. Old soul, every single one of you came with this potential. Old soul, I've said, it is your lineage. It's your lineage. It's why you're here. And it's just the beginning. It is just the beginning. It is just the beginning. For you will return and return, and every time you come, consciousness will be raised a little more and a little more. And it's going to be a comfortable thing for you to walk into this planet as a newborn and pick up where you ended before. Evolution will not be a better corporeal body. It will be consciousness. Evolution, totally consciousness. I've said this before for those who say you're not coming back because you're tired or you're done. Yes, you are. How would it feel to come back with an intuitive mind so you'd never make the same mistakes you made before? Would that change things? And the answer is, of course. Of course. What if high consciousness was this way? That it knows in the field what works and what doesn't work, with relationships, with business, with partners. That you wouldn't make the same mistakes because you don't have to plow through darkness anymore. You'd know it because there's light there now in your path. That is conscious evolution. And that has never occurred You don't know what you don't know. You cannot say what happened in the past then is the map for the future. It isn't. You'll see it isn't. Kryon, why are the things happening on the planet right now that are so difficult? All that we look at, it just seems to be breaking. Can you raise your hands and say, I celebrate the breakage? Because this is the exposure of things that have always been there that you don't want, and you're seeing it now, right in your face. Some have come as wild cards to stir things up so you can integrate the light in the things that you don't like. And that is the task at hand. The integration of old and new, the clashes that will occur even in science, who believes that they know what they know, so don't confuse them with anything new. It's there to solve, and it will be solved. I close. What Alicia saw in the field was the most magnificent thing a human has ever seen. The Merkaba, a piece of the soul, a multidimensional, compassionate light, burning brighter than a welder's arc, and yet there was a color involved. Some have asked, what is the color of spirit? What is the color of God? And I will tell you, as you see colors, it is so limited. You can say you think you know what a color palette is, but you have no idea. If you were on the other side of the veil right now, you could hear light. After all, it's simply a vibration. The entities which are responsible for the divinity of the planet here, the guides, if you want to call them that, I told you, they sing your name in light. But what is the color that you might perceive as a human being with your eyes beyond that brightest light of light? I'll tell you the color that Alicia saw. A beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous, deep purple that has been then associated with divinity from then on in the robes of so many. That's what he saw. And that is a hint to the spectrum that will reveal itself as well as you start to pursue the invention of seeing a quantum field. It's coming. It will rival the invention of the wheel in how it will change humanity forever. That's what is in the field at the moment. How far into the future does the field extend? You don't know anything about the field. You didn't say it right. The field represents all that is and was and will be potentially and past on the planet. The field is a multidimensional coherence that you tap into. It is not linear. And that's why I can say that 1,000 years out, you're not going to recognize yourself. And it's good news. Know these things are possible and potentially yours. Work this puzzle personally with help from everything around you which is alive and living that you don't think is. And that's why I say you're never alone and never will be. You can't be. It's impossible. That's the message of Kryon, always will be. Oh, there'll be more when it's time. go from this place enlightened, confused, if you wish, with free choice, but knowing absolutely things are not going to be the same as they were. And so it is.